Hello everyone, and today I'm going to give you 2 movie reviews, and this video for itself is going to be a review of Paddington, and then I'll make a separate video just for the review of Black Cat. But as far as we are concerned right now, this video for here alone is a review for Paddington. And Paddington is based off the British books from like the 1950s, 60s, and it's basically centered around the character of Paddington, voiced by Ben Whishaw from Skyfall. And basically he gets he gets sent from Peru to England, and basically from that plot on, and he tries to find this man who kind of promises him this open-winded like type of graduation, type of almost like acceptance feeling, like once you come to England, there's a place for you here and I can accept you. And it's almost like a great big warm invitation for him to come there. However, Paddington comes to London a long time later, and with some tragic events happening along the way, he ends up into falling into the hands of a family who is very, very kind and nurturing for the most part, and they take care of him while also trying to find the man who promised Paddington a hope and love in London. Now basically with that setup, I've read a few Paddington books when I was younger, but I never really got super invested with Paddington. My mom loves Paddington, by the way. My mom loves Paddington. And kind of like understanding the knowledge of this stuff, even though I may not be the biggest fan or the biggest type of brilliant mind when it comes to this stuff, I do have a decent background with this type of material. And for me, this movie was genuinely really surprising. I really enjoyed this film a lot, a real lot. I'm willing to say I genuinely loved the film. I really would say that. The setup is brilliant. The idea from the adaptation is clever within itself to be believable, and the execution all around, in my opinion, is really well done. The motion capture and the CG of Paddington is great. It really seems seamless. If anything, you can pretty much summarize this movie as Ted. It's pretty much the British version of Ted. If you take out all the crude humor and Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane out of the picture of that. But with that in mind, within the film, almost like, being like a British version of Ted, being a lot more family friendly without all that inappropriate references, it still holds up with back to back really well with his own suitable information. The acting is great. The cast here, like Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Julie Walters, Peter Capaldi, they all do really good jobs, and they really do lend a lot of British personality and British humor to the film, which I think is really lends itself outwards, and I love British humor. I think it's really portrayed well. And in my opinion, it's probably the best representation of British humor and British language ever since, in my opinion, Sherlock Holmes: The Game of Shadows. And also, I want to say, with the producers, from the poster and the trailers, it says from the producers of Harry Potter. And when I saw that, and I saw the film, I'm like, I can really tell, because there's a sense of loveliness and bright absurdity, and just a complete sense of whimsical and love, and this inviting environment that really seems engaging and really enjoyable. Now, is it as engrossing or is it as compelling or effective as Harry Potter? No. But it's still good within its own right, and I do want to say the story overall is really good. Also, the dialogue, the characters bounce off with each other, and it's really believable, and it seems to create a really realistic situation, as real as it gets, with a little bear in London. And as ridiculous as a concept as that can be, it's still really impressive, and it really seems quite seamless in my opinion, and it really, to me, it comes across as very cute and very genuine. The execution overall is still really good. Of course, the final conflict with the villain is still really good. Also, I do want to say, as a villain, Nicole Kidman does do a good job. However, if I have one personal complaint with the film, I am going to say is that I do think the villain overall is completely useless. I can sincerely tell you, if they made a recut of this movie and took Nicole Kidman's character out and just put Paddington with his family trying to adjust within his life in London and, trying to come to grips with what has happened and him just adjusting to life and the new family and all that, truth be told, I would have found it much more engaging. I'm not saying I found it much more engaging, but if they took out the villain's part in the film, which I do like the villain, and I do think those parts with the villain are not bad because, she's a taxidermist, and that is interesting. But I do question the filmmakers for putting her in. But even though she's not useless, I do question her place in the film because overall, if I had to make a re-edit of this film, I would definitely cut her character out. Because I do sadly want to say, I'm not saying she's pointless, but I'm just saying I kind of do question, does she really deserve to be in the film? Like I said before, you could have just shown Paddington adjusting and learning and growing with this new family in London, and that would have been great. And even though it does show moments of that, and those are great, and those moments with the villain, which are quite good, I do question the film for putting in the villain, because I'm not saying it's pointless, and I know I'm saying that quite a bit, but I do kind of question the film. Like, is the villain really necessary? Like, do we really need a villain? It's fucking Paddington, for God's sake. You really don't need a villain. And that's probably my biggest complaint. But aside from that, the transition from CG environment to live action, to the dialogue, to the screenplay, to the writing, to the words, to the directing, to the effects, are all really, really great. And I want to say that Paddington, in my opinion, is definitely one of the best animated films, one of the best family films I may have seen in the last few years. I want to say Paddington is a really, really, really solid film with good acting, great script, great idea, and great execution. I want to say that it is a brilliant film with good writing, good characters, and a good exposition of it. Overall, I do kind of question the villain's placement within the story, and yes, I do personally consider that a big problem. But aside from that, our film is really solid all around. I would give Paddington an 89%. And everyone, that's my opinion on the movie Paddington. If you haven't seen it lately, I would highly suggest you would do that. Because I would highly, highly, highly recommend Paddington if you can find a theater that's closest to your place for seeing Paddington. Because I would personally really suggest it. It's really great, and it's sincerely worth seeing time. It's sincerely worth seeing, devoting your own time to see. In the end, that's why I give the film an 89%. Yes, the villain is in the bonus, but in the end, what can you do? The film is already made. And in the end, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you within the future for my review of Black Hat. And as far as I'm concerned, thank you for watching. Either you like this video or not, or if you like the movie or not, thank you for watching, and hopefully you will see my review of Paddington, which will be made and uploaded later. Till then, everyone, I'm Jack Newton, and I'm signing out. And live strong.